Well, good morning, folks. It's the day after. Actually, I fibbed a little. It's the afternoon. We were off doing the food shopping today, but I want to be a little consistent here. So, with episode 3, I wanted to give you a quick look at how this looked when I came in the shop this morning. The only thing I've done to this since you last saw it was I removed the tape that was up here just to see how my little darn worked out there to keep it from flowing over, and it worked pretty good. Each time I pour, this wall gets a little further out and a little further out, and eventually it's going to match up. You can see a little dip right there. That's going to match up with the top edge, and then when I do the top fill, I can roll the whole thing over and it'll look very consistent. So that was the plan there, and I just wanted you to see. Let me grab a hand light here so you can see how the edges came out. Uh-oh, just dropped my hand light. There we go. Okay, there we go. So this will give you an idea of sort of how this looks. It's really hard in this light. I'm not getting a lot of light off of this hand lamp, but everything came out smooth, flat, consistent. You can see use the reflection there a little bit as we go up. Oops, really hard to coordinate. This is a gnarly edge, so everything is kind of rolled over. You can see I got, let's put that light down. Right, where is it? I gotta feel it. Right there, there's a little bump of a drip, and another one up there. And they're gonna be all the way down. See, there's a couple drips. That's okay. Planned on that. And that's what I'm gonna do now, or next. Is just sand them flat. I got the same thing on the back, but good coverage all the way down. And still this light doesn't. There we go, a little bit better light there. You can see what we look like. Nice, and even this live edge, which is all bumpy, and as a matter of fact, right there, that's actually a hole from a PV hook. When we rolled the log, trying to get it on the mill, I didn't think it would still be there when I was done, but it's there. So I work with those. Lends a little character to it. The bar owner can explain to his friends why that's there and how things are done, and conversation starter. Now what I do is I go over this, and here, you see right there, right up there, that looks like an odd color. It's actually a little bit of a dry spot. Didn't gloss over. So I'm going to go over this, put little marks of blue tape, and then when I have this bottom side straight up in the air, I could just go around, find all those little blue tape marks real quick and touch them up as I do the bottom, because it's only a little defect to the eye. It's really sealed, but it's soaked into the grain, so you don't get that overlaid, fancy, glossy. See how that is? And then when you come down here and do the same thing, hit that, and it's dull right there in the middle. So we'll fix those. But the edges came out nice, particularly around this joint here. I like to make sure that if somebody has a catastrophic spill, or this is left out in the rain, that water can't wick in there and begin to rot or cause problems. So I seal these up. It's got a nice little fillet down the corner. So that's going to be all sweet. And this came out good. And even this face down here, which is at a 45, here you can see the angle here, is at a 45. And that comes down. And I just got one drip down here. That'll sand off. Because what we're going to do now, back up, is, whoops, don't trip. I'll back up, and I'm going to take this whole thing and I'm going to flip it in the top edge, is going to be on the bottom, and the bottom edge is going to be on the top, and I'm going to repeat the process for the far edge. On this one I got lucky. I was able to paint both ends when I did the top without having a whole mess of drips and runs. It came out real slick. So I got lucky, so I'll take it. And it saves me, well, normally 24 hours to do this end with the curing time and 24 hours for that end with the curing time. So there's 2 days right there that we knocked off. So I'm going to sand this face and the bottom face, and then we're going to flip it. And you remember last night I did one little other project that I didn't really show you. I just showed you the project, but not the work. I wanted to show you how that came out. This is that cookie, and you can see that the epoxy on that left a real nice shiny surface. You can see my window frames reflected in there. So this is going to look really nice when I figure out what I'm making out of it. I really put this finish on too soon, but I had the epoxy, so let's use it up properly on a job instead of throwing it in the garbage. Here's the cup and the brush from last night. That ain't coming out. They are one with each other. So that goes right in the trash can, which is why I use these, 3 cents a piece cups that are just almost like Jello cups, and a 25 to 30 cent brush, whatever it is. It's probably less than that. So let me get to work here. I'm going to see if I can get this camera mounted up without cutting the tape off. So this should be, we'll see how it goes, all right? Just deal with the jitteries that are going to happen here. Maybe I'll get lucky. All right, there we go. And you can almost see what we're doing here. Move this around a little bit. All right, it's a long shot, but hey, you get the idea. Let me do some sanding, and I'll get back to you. This is 120 grit, and it's fairly worn. I want to see how fast it takes it off. If it takes it off pretty fast, I'll stick with it. If not, I'll go to something a little stiffer. Nope, that's not cutting it. Yes, I'm going to sand this whole thing one more time before I do that top coat. I'm just going to zip it off real quick with some 60 grit, which is not as coarse as it sounds on these random orbitals. it for this side. I'm going to repeat it on the back side. These drips, the issue with the drips is they're thicker, much thicker than the layer that's over the desired surface. So they internally, they don't always cure as fast, so they come up a little gummy when you cut them down. So if I do a rough cut to cut them down, and then I leave them alone for a couple hours, or till this evening, they'll be hard, and then when I sand it, it'll come right down. So I don't want to rush it. And that's it. I'm just gonna sand the back side, pretty much like that. Let it dry, or let it cure a little more, and then clean it off. And then I'm gonna flip the whole thing. And again, when I go to do this finished top, last coat, that will that'll have a nice even sanding on the top. Make sure everything is pretty, because you get one shot, and then I will do it, and it'll be done. So there we go. This is going to be a pretty bar. I think the client's going to be very happy with it. Who knows, they may even get a peek at some of these videos. And you know, it's a lot of work, takes time, but patience is a virtue. I'll do this, I'll get it flipped, I get the other edge prepped, pour that, and then I'll start bringing firewood in the shop, because with the 2 days of storm, I haven't brought any firewood in, so I'm out pretty much. I gotta take care of the house. There's always other chores to do, so while that cures, I do other stuff. We'll catch you later. By the way, just to finish this off, if you recall, I messed up part 2 of episode 1 when I said I'd put you on pause and I never came back. During that section that neither one of us will ever get to see, I had given a shout out to a lot of the guys on the forestry forum. I was explaining that what I do here is some of it's learned the hard way by making mistakes, and a lot of it comes from the knowledge I gained from people on the forestry forum. Guys like Tully Peak Lumber and Doc Henderson and Larry and Custom Sawyer and Yellowhammer and Firefighter on the Side. And yes, they all have real names too. And dozens of other guys that throw in ideas that help me out of a jam or help me figure out what it is I'm not understanding, and launched me way forward. So yeah, my techniques may not be for everybody, but they work for me. And those guys are always quick to let me know when I might have a better solution available with what I have to do what I need to do. So I've learned a tremendous amount with these guys. I can't speak highly of them enough. The Forestry Forum is a great place to gain knowledge. If you got a chance and you have an interest, go check them out. We'll talk more about that at a later date, I'm sure. But for now, I just wanted to give credit to where a lot of my knowledge came from. And it's jumped me along quite a bit. So I appreciate all you guys on the forum that have helped and continue to help and are sympathetic to my stumblings. But all right, let me get to work, and I'll catch you in the next episode. Bye-bye.